Hello and welcome to another episode of Touching Lives with Shua T. I hope you've been getting meaningful stuff. The last episode was on context and this is a related one. I'm talking about insecurities. When somebody is insecure, they have insecurities and there are reasons behind that, and I'll tackle 4 with you today. But when someone is insecure, you see them as anxious. Often they are anxious about making a certain decision. When somebody is insecure, they don't want to move forward because you see a lack of confidence. So, first question I'll ask you now is, do you see yourself demonstrating those symptoms? Anxiety, lack of confidence? Then there may be an insecurity that's lurking behind, in the dark there in your mind, which you have to deal with. And maybe that insecurity there, lurking there. So let me talk to you about 4 things that lead to people becoming insecure. The first one, words. The words of haters. People who typically have hated on you. They could be family. They could actually be some people called friends, who obviously are not really friends if they're hating you, and even foe. It's expected. Your foes don't like you. Sometimes those words are subtle. Sometimes they're direct. Sometimes people are abusive, verbally abusive, and they demonstrate their hate in that way. So, why is it that those words have become a source of insecurity for you? Why is it? It is so because you are replaying those words in your mind. And you've replayed them long enough to start to believe what they have said. And that is now causing you to lack confidence in yourself. That is causing you to be anxious about moving forward. And you just want to stay in a comfort zone where you feel somehow safe. But the words of those haters keep on playing in your mind and it's hurting you. This is what I'll tell you to do. Take that record. I need a record here. Oh, someone give me a record. Okay. Take that record. I mean, this is not round, but take that record and break it. Take that record and break it. Stop playing those words. Most of those words, truth, they are lies. Most of those words, they are lies. They were said in a harsh, mean way for one purpose and one purpose alone, to pull you down. That's what haters do, to pull you down. But I believe for all of us that we are more than that. And for those of us who haven't been able to break out of that, and somehow you have lived a life that is wrong because of that, you can change. But first, you must break that record. Stop playing those hateful words, those abusive words, those mean and harsh words in your mind. You are not ugly. To somebody, you're beautiful. And that starts with Jehovah Almighty in heaven. You're not daft. You just don't understand possibly mathematics or biology. But you may be great with a paintbrush. You may be a beautiful artist, somebody that can dance in front of the whole world and mesmerize the world. Break the record and you break free. Number 2, the words of naysayers. Naysayers. People that like to say no. Naysayers. They tell you, that's not for you. Not for you. They tell you, I don't think you can do that. And sometimes it's subtle. Are you sure you're ready to quit your job? It's subtle often. And because of that, you start to become anxious about that decision. Because of that, any vim, vibe, hype, anything positive in you, it's like they took water, tons of water, and just poured it on fire. They doused the zeal that you had. And because you've heard them long enough ask you, question you about your abilities and the like, in a negative sense, saying, you can't do that. Are you sure you can really do that? Now you have an insecurity where you tell yourself, you can't do that. Are you sure you can do that? What do you need to do to naysayers? You need to ignore them. If you know that you have the capacity and the capability to achieve a certain mission or a certain vision, or to go to your next level in your academic career, or to become an artist, a world-renowned artist, or to post content that will affect people's lives, ignore what the naysayers say and go ahead and do it. And in doing it, you know what you do? You prove the naysayers wrong. And the joke would be on them, because they'll be the first people to say, oh, Jack and I, we're the best of friends and we're neighbors. But before you became best of friends and neighbors, they kept on telling you, neighbor, you can't do it. So I say, ignore them and take action. So let's look at the third thing, and it's tied to these naysayers: the fear of failure. The fear of failure. It has created an atmosphere of insecurity in your mind, the fear of failure. And you don't move. You don't act. And the truth is, you haven't failed at that thing, whatever it may be. What you have failed at is taking the first step. You have failed at acting. You haven't failed yet. You haven't. Do you get my point? Because of that insecurity, that fear of failure, you don't move. And if you don't move, you don't act. And if you don't act, then you can't say you have failed. So what do you need to do to kill that insecurity? Guess what? You have to act. You have to try. And in trying, you will learn about yourself, that you are capable. And in learning, you may actually win and succeed in that thing. Or you will learn that, no, this isn't for me. Let me try something else. But by not trying, you will not learn. By not learning, you will not know what you are strong at. And by not knowing what you're strong at, you will always lack confidence. You will always have that insecurity plaguing you. So what do you need to do? You need to try. You need to try. And by trying, you break the fear of failure. The fourth and last thing, the fear of judgment. Some people know they can and they will be able to. So for instance, I'm doing a video of this on YouTube. Some people know they are great at doing videos, but they're afraid of judgment. They're afraid of what people will say, what people will think. Do I look nice enough? Or they will put me down for the dress I wore. The fear of judgment. Will they over-criticize me? That fear of judgment is stopping you from picking a pen and writing a book. And that book could change so many lives. Now, I almost feel like I'm talking to myself, because so many people have told me to write a book, but hey, it's not out of fear. I just don't feel like writing a book. That fear of judgment causes so many people not to take the next step. And you know what I say to the fear of judgment? If it's a hobby, you have nothing to lose. Just do it. If it's business, then put in place a plan, execute. And if it's not working, pull out and try something else. Pull out and try something else. So, overall, when it comes to the fear of judgment, allow the audience to decide for you. If it's a hobby, let your audience on YouTube or Instagram tell you whether your hobby is great or not. But you know what? It doesn't matter what they say if it's just a hobby. A hobby is more about you having fun. And 1 or 2, 3, 4 people will have fun with you. And those guys, those ladies, they become your audience, your ideal audience. I'll be talking about ideal audiences in like the next 2 weeks. If it's a business, that's where it matters a bit more. You need to listen to what your audience will say. Well, how will you hear if you do not take action? When you take action, your audience will tell you whether your business makes sense or not. And you can always try something else. If there's no audience for what you're offering, that service, that product, you can try something else. And you learn in the process. You get skills in the process. So don't live in fear of judgment and not take a step. Rather let the audience, allow the audience give you feedback. And you know what? You know something I strongly believe? Even if your country just has 1 million people, you'll be surprised that there are 100, 200 people that would love to be your audience. So don't judge yourself prematurely. Allow the audience be the judge. So we just talked about words of who? Haters. Break that record. Don't let it play in your mind. We talked about the words of naysayers. Ignore them and take your action. Ignore them and take your action. Number 3, we talked about the fear of failure. And we said the way to do that or handle that is to try it. Just go ahead and try it. You will learn in the process. I also talked about the fear of judgment. And I said, ultimately, allow the audience choose. Allow the audience be the judge. Get out there and you will learn from your audience. You can realign and you can identify those who really love what you're doing. Okay, that's what I have for you on insecurities. Put a comment below if you got something beautiful from this. And I hope I've helped you to break free, be unlimited, and achieve more in your life. Take care.